Hello and welcome to this live webinar session. This is an introduction to crowdfunding session today for the Improving Life for Londoners campaign. So hopefully if you're new to crowdfunding, you want to find out a little bit more about what it is, why people crowdfund, what's involved and the next steps that you need to take, then you're in the right place. So let's get started first of all. So bit of an introduction to us. First of all, my name is Sammy Morger. I'm broadcasting here from Crowdfunder HQ in Newquay in Cornwall. We're the largest rewards-based platform in the UK. So you may have heard of different types of crowdfunding, and I appreciate that it can be a little bit confusing sometimes because it's a term which is used to mean quite a few different things. So what I'm going to do first of all is quickly run through these main different types so we're really clear on what it is that we're talking about here today. So first up we have what we call donation crowdfunding. That's where usually people are doing some sort of charitable fundraising. It might be that they're cycling to Paris or doing a skydive or something like that, and people can just donate towards that cause. So that one's really, really simple. Next up, we have rewards crowdfunding. That's very much where we sit here at Crowdfunder, is across donation and rewards. Rewards, really, really simple. You have a project which is trying to make something happen. You have an idea, something like that you need funding for. And people can contribute money towards making that thing happen. And what they get in return is what we call a reward. Now that reward can be anything from a physical product, an item. It can be an invitation to an event. It could be a ticket for something, or it could even just be a thank you or a good feeling. You don't own part of the idea or part of a business or organisation at all, and you don't get any money back. So it's a really straightforward exchange. Now, moving on to the ones here on the far right, we have equity crowdfunding. This is the one that a lot of people have heard of, like Dragon's Den, where you're giving away shares in your business, percentage of your business, to different people, to individuals, and of course, they can expect, a return, for example, on that. Our sister company Crowdcube do equity crowdfunding, so if that is something that you're interested in, you can certainly get in touch with us, and we're more than happy to introduce you to the team over there at Crowdcube. Next up, we have peer-to-peer lending. Does what it says on the tin. Instead of borrowing a large chunk of money from the bank, for example, you borrow it from lots of people. They then get their money back with a bit of interest on top, so it tends to be a good deal for the project and a good deal for the people lending the money. Finally, we have community shares in the middle, which is also something that we do here at Crowdfunder. This is the one that most people haven't heard of. It's very, very similar to equity crowdfunding in that people buy into a share in a project, in an idea, but instead of being more sort of business focused and sort of around driving a return on that investment, community shares is all about investing in a community asset or something which is really important for a community. So for example, if a local pub might be closing down, it might be that the community will club together to buy that pub and to run it and to keep that open. So hopefully that gives you a bit of an overview of the main types of crowdfunding, but we're really going to focus on rewards today. That's very much the core to what we're going to talk about. So a quick refresher again of how rewards crowdfunding works, and it's always best to explain this with a really simple example. So here we have Phil. Phil from Leeds Bread Co-op. He wanted to open a bakery. He needed about £8,000 to kit it out so that he could open it up and start making and selling bread. Now, he went to the banks, he wasn't able to get a loan, he didn't have any sort of inheritance or savings, he used all of that up, so he was short of this £8,000. He decided instead to go to Crowdfunder to raise the money that he needed and then actually to get that money from the community around him. So he set up his page, he went live, and after 49 days, he'd raised £8,690 from 144 people in his local community. And what those people got in return for their contribution, in return for their support, was essentially the products. So they got, for example, a loaf of bread every week for a set amount of time, or they might get a special cake or something like that. So Phil was able to open his bakery with the money that he earned through crowdfunding and then deliver on the rewards later once he got set up. So this brings us really nicely onto why do people crowdfund? It's a really good question because, of course, there's lots of different places that you can get money from for your idea, for your organisation, your business, or whatever it is that you're doing. So, of course, the funding is the obvious one. It's in the name. For a lot of people, actually, the funding is really essential. They need the funding in order to make this thing happen. But validation is actually really key as well for a lot of projects. You have an idea, you're not sure if it's going to be a goer. You're not sure if there's actually any call for it. Do people want this? Is there a need for this product, this new product that you've developed? You're putting on an event. Do people actually want to come? Really good way to find out is to crowdfund it. Because if people are interested and they do want it and they do want to come along, they want it to happen, they'll fund it to make it happen. So it's a really good way for you as a project owner to test your idea and find out if there's a call for it. Crowdfunding is also a really fantastic way of raising awareness about you, your organisation, your business, and what it is that you're doing. You find when you go through the process of crowdfunding, you'll be shouting about it from the rooftops, the loudest and proudest you ever have done before. You'll get swept up in that whirlwind of the story and the drive behind it, and you'll find that in that community, in that space, that awareness will really, really rise, which is fantastic, of course, going forwards. When people crowdfund, what they essentially do is add a bunch of advocates to their supporters list. That's really, really key for crowdfunding. We find that people who come on and make a contribution to make something actually happen, because they've been a part of the journey and they've been instrumental in actually making this thing become a reality, that they really do stay around for the long haul. They will continue to be your customers, they'll continue to be your supporters and your advocates. Having a successful crowdfund in the bag is actually really, really useful if you're looking at future funding elsewhere as well. So we might be talking about getting loans from the bank, about getting grants, etc. Having that proof that you've got support from that community, that you've raised money already, is really, really great and will definitely boost any applications going forwards. Finally, you can actually access extra funding through running a crowdfunding project on Crowdfunder. And that's money that can be pledged towards your project, usually larger chunks of money that goes into your project, just like money from the crowd. And we're going to come on to that in a little bit more detail in just a moment. The other thing, which is a really important question, which of course, people always ask, why do people pledge on crowdfunding projects? What do they get out of it? Why would anyone, give me money to make my idea happen? And actually, we can split that down into these two main groups. The first one being that they believe in your idea. They think it's worthwhile. They think it's worth their money. It's going to do some good in the world. They can see the benefit of it. The other side is that they want the reward. So whether that's a product that they want to get their hands on, whether that's tickets to an event that they really want to come along to, that's their motivation, is they want a piece of the action. Of course, where the two overlap, that's the sweet spot. That's when crowdfunding really works best, when you've got an idea that people can believe in and you have something that's really worthwhile that you're giving in return. So we mentioned just a minute ago about accessing this extra funding. Now, Trust for London and City Bridge Trust have £100,000 that they can give away on Crowdfunder to community projects that benefit Londoners. And each project can get up to £10,000, up to half of your target of what it is that you're trying to raise. If that sounds like something that's of interest to you, and I don't see why it wouldn't be, I think it's a fantastic opportunity, you can head on over to that campaign page to find out more about the full criteria and find out if your project matches what they're looking for. You can apply through that page as well, and that link is underneath this YouTube video, just down below. You'll see a link to where to get to that fund. And we have lots of other funds on Crowdfunder as well that you can apply for. You can apply for as many as you like. Another one that I definitely want to draw your attention to, Origin Housing actually have up to £1,000 per project for community projects in North London and Hertfordshire. So definitely take a look at that one and see if your project fits for that fund as well. You can see all of the funds that are available if you go on to crowdfunder.co.uk/funds. That's where you can see all of them. Please do have a look through. There's all sorts of different funds on there that you might be able to access. So if this all sounds good, it sounds like something that might be a good fit for you, your organisation, your business. What's involved? What are the next steps? So you set yourself a target. How much money is it that you want to raise, and when do you need to raise it by? That's the essentials. So if you need to raise £1,000 in 4 weeks, that might be a target. It might be that you need to raise £10,000 and do that in 6 weeks, for example. A project can run from anywhere from 2 weeks up to 8 weeks, but really you want to stick to sort of a 4 or 5 week campaign. That's enough time for you to get the momentum that you need to raise the money you need without it dragging on forever and ever and everyone sort of losing interest in it or going a bit stale. So that's really the sweet spot there. In terms of setting your target, how much money you need to raise, we have some fantastic tools on Crowdfunder when you're adding your project that helps you to work out what is a realistic target for you as you're going through. The next bit that you'll need to do is tell your story. Now, there's a couple of ways you can do that. When you're setting up your project on Crowdfunder, you can actually type a written description where you tell your story, but you can also add things like videos and images and quotes, testimonials, all sorts of things that give some texture to your story that really show people what it is that you're all about. Of course, you offer rewards. You don't have to offer rewards. I think it's worth me mentioning that on Crowdfunder, you have the option to run a donation-only project. We find that projects with rewards tend to raise more money and the average pledge tends to be higher. The average pledge for projects with rewards is about £50, 50. For a donation project, that's more like £11. So it's definitely worth having some rewards. And again, we've got lots of suggestions of the kind of things you might be able to offer if you're getting a little bit stuck on that. Once you've done all that, the final thing left to do is to spread the word, is to get it out there to your network, to your community, to the people who are going to be interested in getting involved with this project. And we actually have a whole entire guide just on that. We have a guide on planning your project, a guide on creating your project, and one on running your project, on spreading the word. Really, really useful step-by-step, very tangible, very easy to follow advice. Some of it's pretty basic, some of it's more advanced. So there's definitely some good stuff for all different levels of projects in there. So if this is all sounding good, definitely head onto the Crowdfunder website and have a look around, get a bit of a feel for it. There's some success stories on there that you can click on, you can read through, find out about other people's crowdfunding journeys, what they did, what they thought of it. Have a look at some live projects. You can see down there, you can explore projects by different categories. Find projects like yours, see what they've done. Be a critic, what do you like, what don't you like? And start to learn a little bit about how it works from that. And of course, when you're ready, next thing you need to do is click that Start Crowdfunding button. That's the first step on your crowdfunding journey. Once you've done that, you can go back in, log in and out, save things, add things, chop and change, edit, delete, do whatever you want. No one can see anything that you're doing when you're working on your project behind the scenes until it goes live. So there's absolutely no pressure. You can take your time and get it exactly perfect for you. From here, there's a couple of things I would definitely recommend doing if this sounds like something you're going to want to pursue. Download the first pack. As I said, there's 3 packs. Part 1 is planning your project. That will give you a really solid foundation for what you need to do to get set off in the right direction. Then going forwards from there, part 2 will be about creating, part 3 about running it. With each of those packs, there's another session just like this that accompanies that part of the journey. So the session on planning your project is on Thursday the 30th of March, and that's at 1 p.m. If you'd like to come along to that, and I definitely recommend that you do, the link is below this YouTube video for you to sign up and join that. Definitely join the event, even if you know that you're not actually able to make that time, because you'll receive an email with a link where you can watch it back later, so you can watch it back at any time that you like. Any questions? Please do get in touch. We're always happy to hear from you. You can reach my colleagues in customer support at support@crowdfunder.co.uk. That's any questions about crowdfunding, about your project in particular, or about any of the funds. We're more than happy to hear from you. So hopefully you found this session useful. It gives you a bit of an idea as to what crowdfunding is, what's involved, and whether it might be something that's right for you. We have such a broad range of projects on Crowdfunder, from sports clubs who just need £500 to big businesses who need tens of thousands of pounds and beyond. So I'm sure that there's something that will be right for you. So please do download that pack, join the next session, and I'll see you then. Thanks so much.